You are soaring flight of imagination, saturated in the movable. Removable, no excuses. You're breaking all the rules. You are brew, composed in shea butter, peppermint and honey black soap. Nas lifeline inscribed in palm, unconventional, standing 20 feet tall. You are 1969 in the syncopated. Improvisation to the metronome. You chasse too. You allow your voice to ripen before time signatures expire in measures. You origami chords. You are where 30 shakes hands with adolescents realizing you just hit puberty. Watch as red clay seeps through pores building pyramids past prime. You are prime at 44. All brass, double bass, two drummers, three electric pianos, and percussionists all saying forget it at once. Hey y'all, and we are back. So make sure y'all get y'all people in the room. Make sure they are here for this amazing conversation. If you don't know who I am, it's your girl, Heather Bird. I am the visionary founder and CEO of Bird's World Publishing, where we are on a mission to empower 1,000 women of color to write and publish their brilliance so they can turn their message into a movement. And y'all, today, today I am excited to invite you to All About Our Liberation, the podcast, as we work collectively to reclaim and rebuild our way back home. This podcast is inspired by the upcoming anthology, and we are extending the conversation so we can transform on the page and in person. Together, we create permission to write, to rest, and to remember who we were before the world got its hands on us. So get your people in the room. Make sure you tag, you share, make sure you leave a comment and let me know that you are here. And let me know where you're coming from. But before we dive all the way into the conversation, because when I tell y'all the guest that we have today, if y'all have not already met her, y'all about to know why I am so excited for us to be able to have this conversation. But before we get started, again, make sure you are tagging someone, you are sharing this, you are commenting and letting me know where you are coming from. But I want to make sure I give a proper shout out to the folks that made all of this possible, made all about our liberation become a space where we are able to continue the conversation. So I would like to send a shout out to the network that made this happen, right? So we're going to be back real quick. But like I said, make sure y'all are tagging your folks and bringing them into the room. So let's take a second to introduce the female solution, y'all.
Women have the power to transform this world. We can end crime and violence if we all agree to do one thing: share. Let's share our wisdom, share our time, share our talents, share our finances, but most of all, let's share our love. This is the female solution.
Shout out to the Female Solution for having All About Our Liberation, the podcast, be a part of their network. I am here every first and third Mondays of the month. Y'all, first of all, it is December. How did we get to December? I don't know how we got here, but we are here and we are bringing it in with a much needed conversation. One of the things that I love to be able to do before we really have an opportunity to dive in is make sure that we take a moment to ground. I know that there's so much that is happening in the world. I am in Chicago, and so we got a snowstorm, and I say that in quotation marks. Was there a lot of snow? Yes. Do we know how to handle snow? Yes, we do, right? But we got a lot of snow. And so it's a reminder that it's December in Chicago and that we have to find our coats and our hats and our scarves and all of the things, right? So before the episode, I want to create space to pause, to ground, and to honor our ancestors and their wisdom. So if you feel comfortable, I would love for you to be able to just take some time and get yourself situated, wiggle out your body, figure out if your shoulders or having conversations with your ears. If they are, bring them down. You know what I'm saying? And just take a moment to get still. And as you are still, find a moment to just extend gratitude towards your body. Thank it for waking you up in the morning. Thank it for the little stretches that happen throughout the afternoon. Thank it for the small walk that you might have had. Thank it for your legs and your feet that were taking you through the snow. And let's go ahead and take a nice deep breath in together and out through our mouth. And as you are thanking your body, the next 3 breaths that we'll take together, we'll inhale together, pause, and then we're going to exhale out with a really deep hum. And with that hum, I would love for you to be able to find a part of your body that needs a little bit more love, needs a little bit of a hug. Maybe there is some tension that exists in your body, and the hum is going to be sent to that part of your body to break up that tension. So let's go ahead and take a nice deep breath in together and hum out. Deep breath in and hum out. Let's do it one last time. Remember to send that hum to the part of your body that needs it the most. Deep breath in and a deep hum out. And whenever you're ready, you can go ahead and you can open your eyes. And as you are kind of in that space of sending gratitude to the parts of your body that needs it the most, I would love to be able to offer you all a quote for today, right? So today's quote is actually by Auntie Lord, Audre Lorde, who has been here guiding us for so long in their work, even after they are no longer here, right? And so the quote I would love for you to be able to sit with today is, I write for those women who do not speak, for those who do not have a voice because they were so terrified. I'll say that one more time. I write for those women who do not speak, for those who do not have a voice because they were so terrified. Audre Lorde. So before we go into our first commercial break, one of the things that I would love to be able to do is create space for us to ask ourselves a question based on that quote, right? I'm actually going to drop that quote in the chat so that you all can see it, because I don't know about y'all, but I am a visual learner. And if it is not somewhere where I can see it, it is not real. So again, the quote is, I write for those women who do not speak, for those who do not have a voice because they were so terrified. And the question I want you to kind of think about and ask yourself is, what truths have you kept quiet out of fear? And what shifts when you let yourself name them? Again, based on that quote, kind of what comes up for you, I would love for you to be able to just begin to think about. And if you have it nearby, you know I'm all about being able to write things out. So if you want to take some notes, you can. The question is, what truths have you kept quiet out of fear? And what shifts when you let yourself name them? All right. So as you're thinking about those, I'm going to take us to a quick commercial break. But when we come back from this commercial break, y'all, I am bringing none other than LaCrissa Grandberry to the stage. So I can see how many people are watching this live. I can see the numbers, and there's definitely not enough people who are in this live right now. I want folks to be able to continue to have the conversations that are necessary for our liberation. It starts with us being able to name the things that they are trying to hide from us. So these conversations are necessary. Hey, Tammy, look at you. Y'all are coming in the chat. I see you. Hey, Tammy. Uh, hey, Cassie. Hey, Tara. Y'all are here. Get some more people in the room. All right. We're going to take a really quick commercial break. And when we come back, we're going to start talking about that question that I just posed to y'all. All right. If y'all ready, let me know. Type ready in the chat. And I'm going to see y'all in about a minute and a half. All right. Start thinking about that question. We'll be back soon, y'all.
What's up, guys? It's Osada, the host of the Gathering of the Griots podcast, part of the Female Solution. Want you to join us every Tuesday morning from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. And guess what we do? We interview authors of the Soulful Chicago Book Fair. The books, the experiences, the lifestyles, all of it with fervor. So be there right on the Soulful Chicago Book Fair YouTube page or on the Female Solution Facebook page. We look forward to having you and all our literary essence. Peace.
Everything we're made of contains light. From the sun that feeds our world to the energy that flows within us. With LifeWave X39, we've found a way to put that light to work. With X39, we achieved something remarkable in the field of wellness and science that others could not. By utilizing LifeWave's unique patented technology, X39 uses light to elevate GHK-Cu, a copper peptide known to support overall health and wellness. Unlike traditional light therapy, X39 uses the body's own infrared light to naturally increase vitality. By gently stimulating the skin with light, our non-invasive, non-transdermal X39 patches help you conquer your active lifestyle and pave a new way to vibrant health.
And we're back, y'all. Told you I was going to be real quick. I also dropped that question in the chat. So if you are taking some time to just let it ruminate, just let it settle. We're going to talk a little bit more about it in a second with our guests. So I told y'all, get your people in the room. I see Tara's in a board meeting and finishing up a few things. It's okay. We here. We're going to be here until 8 o'clock. So I see you. I appreciate you for tuning in. Get your people in the room, y'all. But I want to thank y'all so much for joining us. If you are just now in the room, I want to welcome you all to All About Our Liberation, the podcast. This podcast is inspired from a collection of stories that we are pulling together for an anthology also named All About Our Liberation, a manifesto for women of color. And together we are working collectively, right, to reclaim and rebuild our way back home to ourselves. We are making sure that we are creating a space that allows for us to write, to rest, and to remember who we were before the world got its hands on us. All right. So welcome to the space. I am excited for y'all to be here. And now, are y'all ready? It's time to welcome our beautiful, talented, she just gives me all the feels, our guest that's going to be in this space with us today for this episode, y'all. LaCrissa Grandberry. I'm going to read this bio. Y'all gonna see why I'm losing my mind. LaCrissa Grandberry is a Milwaukee-born and raised artist, now making her mark in Chicago as an actor, singer, writer, and speaker. And that's these words don't even encompass all the things that she is, but I'm gonna read the bio. Okay, as an actor, singer, writer, and speaker, she has carved out a space in regional theater where her passion for storytelling shines. Her creative journey spans poetry, classroom teaching, keynote speaking, playwriting, lyricism, and composing. Come on now. Come on now. She was named one of Wisconsin's 52 most influential Black leaders in 2022. I am not surprised. And it's part of the I always say this word, the Dramatists Guild Foundation's National Musical Theater Playwriting Fellowship. That is a mouthful. 2024 cohort. She serves as the director of Nova Programming for Northern Sky Theater, which she creates safe spaces for writers to explore and amplify their voices. But Krista stated, I am not sure why I was granted access to healing in this God-forsaken world, but I'll be damned if I let it go to waste. I know that my stories are not my own. They belong to all of us. And I believe when I tell them, I can offer a glimpse of hope and step towards freedom for all of us. Y'all, I told y'all, get ready. I was not playing. Y'all make sure y'all are in this chat and help me welcome the uh there isn't a word to describe this woman. Okay, help me in welcoming LaCrissa Grandberry to All About Our Liberation. Hello, my dear. I love you so much.
Hi, Bird. I love you too so much. You are hilarious.
Just your entire presence shifts a room. It makes my heart know what love feels like. Joy feels like, what is possible. Like you are my entire heart. Thank you for saying yes and for being on All About Our Liberation. I welcome you, my dear.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
I'm like you for two women who write a lot, who got a lot to say and
We
love
don't
to
have
play
words.
with words. Have no clue what words to use as I enter the room.
Look here. Look here. I know in other cultures, English doesn't always describe what needs to be described. And so I think that's why learning another language is so important, and learning that there are different ways to to describe how we're feeling, because English just doesn't do it.
Well, you know, I grew up Baptist, and and in church sometimes they would say, honey, when you can't say a word, I'm gonna just wave my hand.
You know, just actions.
Honey, I'm gonna
just bring it here. Let me hold you. Let me, what was, you know what I'm saying? Like, Wakanda forever.
I understand it now.
Yeah. Well, welcome, my dear. And if y'all are in the chat, please make sure y'all welcome my guest, LaCrissa. Cassie says, hi, LaCrissa. Your sister resistance in the house. You know what I'm saying? I know
family.
I got, look here. Folks are here. Yeah. So to kind of open up the space, right? I would love for folks to be able to get to know you a little bit more before we dive into, y'all. Before we dive into this beauty here. Shredding rugs, right? But before we dive into shredding rugs, I would love for you to take a moment and again revisit that quote that I mentioned at the top of the podcast, right? I write for those women who do not speak, for those who do not have a voice because they were so terrified. And when I was choosing the quote for today, I felt like this one was so fitting for our conversation today as we are moving through this moment in our lives where we are liberating so much of ourselves. And the liberation of our being does not stop. So when we think about the question that I posed earlier, what truths have you kept quiet out of fear? And what shifts when you let yourself name them? What comes up for you?
My word. First off, that's one of my favorite quotes. And I feel like I have a mouthful of things to say right now. So I'm going to try to say this as organized as I possibly can. My goodness, so many truths I kept quiet about for a long time. And especially out of fear, and out of many different kinds of fear, out of fear that nobody would believe me, out of fear that I would be punished for saying them, out of fear of how I would be looked at once the truth came out, like how people would see me. I think there's different tiers of fear with some of my truths. And so I have a whole book filled with them. I'm like, I don't know where you want me to start with my truths, but certainly my many parts of my story include both sexual abuse, physical abuse, emotional abuse, abandonment. Um, and I I didn't speak on much of that for most of my life, not out loud. And I think the second part of that question, which asks what shifts when I let myself name them. Like if I was to go into what truths I've kept quiet, it's this whole book plus some, right? But
Mhm.
what shift when I began to name them? And if I were to I'm just gonna, have a little fun real quick.
Let's
What shifts
go.
when
I
I
love you.
named He Slapped Me, right? That's the name of a poem in a book. What shift for me when I named it was one, the first thing was recognizing that like nothing was my fault. Like I
Mm,
think, sometimes as a kid, um you it's easy to think I did something. And so I did something that provoked someone. I got in trouble because I didn't do something right or I did something wrong. And that in turn is why I got in trouble. And so I think one of the first things that shifted for me, even naming four and sitting on the other side of that poem, I now began to think I was four. Like I
mm,
really was a 4-year old kid. And as a woman who also was a teacher at one point, I can't imagine that for my babies that I taught. And so I think the first thing is shifting my perspective and understanding about a lot of the events that happened to me and recognizing that like I did not deserve it. I did not they were not my fault. I did not earn
mm,
those things.
mhm.
Like it happened and it shouldn't have happened.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I don't have to advocate any more than that of the fact that like, no, what happened shouldn't have happened and that's it. It's as simple as that.
yeah.
Um, and so that's something I think that's big that shifted for me in my understanding of my life truths and events. And I also began to then own it in a different way, and
Mm,
not in a way that like, is it own it? Maybe it's carry it in a different way. Like I think once I shifted my perspective of what happened, a lot of what happened to me, I no longer carried it with shame,
mm,
and
mm,
so that was a big shift for me, honey. I was embarrassed and I was
mm.
ashamed of my life story
Yeah.
for many reasons. But um, I I've said it a million times. I feel like, especially since the release of this book in the last 2 months, which is that like I really am in the most healed and free place I've ever been in. Like this version of myself is the
Yeah.
most healed it's ever been. It's the most free it's ever been. And it's the most dangerous it's ever been at the same time. Because, honey,
Owning your voice is people understand how powerful our voices are, which is why a lot of spaces try to silence us.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So that makes all the sense in the world.
yeah. It's a beautiful place to be. And I
Hmm.
recognize that it's a dangerous place to be because I'm like, oh honey, I'm free.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can't convince me of anything else. You can't
Mm.
control me. You can't manipulate me. Like I don't
Yes. Yes.
people
Ah.
and people lose it when they no longer have that kind of control over you.
Mm-hmm. And you will be tested of whether or not you are where you are in your healing journey, right? Whether or not
Yeah.
you will be able to maintain the lessons that you have learned. And depending on who is around you, the
Mhm.
community that allows for you to
Mhm.
remind you of who you are
Yeah.
in this healed version of yourself,
Uh,
right?
mhm.
So I thank you so much for sharing. I also want to make sure that folks have the opportunity to take care of themselves as we are having this conversation.
Mhm.
Um, so if you need to step away and come back, right? if you need to grab a drink of water, if you need a
Mhm.
snack, I want to make sure that you have those. And look at that. We're going to take a sip real quick. One second. I got a pretty glass just so I can do that. So I thank you for sharing that too. And if there are folks who also want to hop in the chat and answer that question of what truths have you kept quiet out of fear and what shifts when you let yourself name them, the conversation continues, right? It's not just here.
Yeah.
So before we move into one of the poems from the book, there's a segment of the podcast I like to have our guests read a letter to a sister resistor.
Hmm.
I would love for you to just talk about the title of the book, Shredding Rugs. Um, why is it so important? And then give a
Hmm.
description of the book, so that folks have opportunity to know what we're about to move into, right?
Yeah. Shredding rugs. Um, I mean, I feel like a lot of us know and or understand people who grew up in a house. So what happened in this house stays in this house. Who understands the notion of when things happen within the family, you sort of sweep it under the rug so that nobody else finds out about it. And it happens so often. And the title came about because I was at a writer's retreat, the Her Story Writers Retreat with Bird.
Shout out to
And-
the community.
okay. And I had a hard time figuring out the title. And I think Bird, you were a great assistant that in first recognizing what is the movement of the book.
Mm,
And Regina also being like the title will come to you. You know, you don't have to figure it out. The title will come to you. But I did understand that once I knew the movement of the book was to shred rugs, because I no longer wanted to participate in the series of sweeping things under the rugs and suffocating under those rugs that we sweep all of our
mhm,
BS under. And I shouldn't call it BS, but all of our life happenings, our traumatic events, our family dramas, all the things that happen get swept under that rug. Um, and so I no longer wanted to participate in that.
yeah.
And and that's how shredding rugs came about for me because I feel like I know my story and a lot of stuff I did sweep under a rug. And I know a
Mhm.
lot of women who do the same thing. And I'm just starting with my own family. And so, and I'm gonna do a that. Um because the quote I love this quote that you shared earlier. I write for those women who do not speak and for those who do not have a voice because they were so terrified. And this book, um by this book I mean my book, Shredding Rugs, has gotten such grand responses. But I think some of the responses that have like moved me the most in a way that I did not expect are from women in my own family.
Mm,
And I won't read this whole thing. I actually got a message today that I haven't even had a chance to respond to. Um but one of the first lines say, "I am so proud of you for writing this book for us."
mm,
And
mm,
and then it goes on to say, "For so long I wanted to write a book about the many family members who raped me and my abusive mom who beat and abandoned us." And this is like from a very close family member of mine. And and they said a lot more, but the second part of one of the things they say later on is that they never knew how to begin to tell their own story.
mm,
Or and I've had this same sort of message from other family members who feel so seen.
mm,
Like literally, I'm going back to this message from today because um one it really got me because they also said, "I am you."
Mm.
But I don't know. I think back to like the fact about the idea of shredding rugs, how conditioned we all are to just accept what is, um, and and be afraid of the fact that nobody will support you if you do the opposite.
Yeah.
If you actually like, if you don't sweep it under the rug, but instead you shred the rug. And I am certainly like, even now, even in this point in my journey, as I began to write, I've been writing these poems for years, many of them many years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But as I put this book together, I had made up in my mind it's gonna piss some people off.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean it won't still, but I knew, I like thought to myself, I was like, oh, it's really gonna probably piss off my family. I was like, it's probably gonna piss them off the most because I am doing the thing that you shouldn't do, which is airing out family business, right? Even though it's my
Mm-hmm.
story and how I overcame these things, but I'm airing out family business and they won't like that. And instead, so many of them have responded um feeling seen
Mm.
and feeling hurt, and I think almost feeling a little bit of hope.
Yeah.
Um, and I feel very Madam Lord in that.
Mm.
Writing for those who do not speak, because sometimes you do need somebody else to say what you can't or
Yeah.
what you wouldn't in
Oof.
order for you to find it for yourself.
There's power in naming
Mm-hmm.
and understanding that you are not alone. No one wants to ever
Yeah.
feel alone in whatever it is that they're going through.
Yeah.
And so, as we are working through our own healing journey, because this isn't something where you wake up and be like, I'm going to do this thing, right? You have
Yeah.
to be ready. You have to be ready to tell your story. You have to be going through your own healing journey. You have to be
Yeah.
able to have a strong community around you. I always say, if you're going to be writing and you're going to be sharing, you need to make sure that you're able to hold yourself and the folks that are reading and hearing your story simultaneously. It is your responsibility to be able to do those things. And so there is work that is really a part of this conversation, right?
Yeah.
And being able to name what is going on is a part of our liberation. So
Yeah.
I want to take a quick break, give us a chance to just breathe and hum
Mhm.
and settle ourselves as we move into the next segment. So get ready for that poem you're about to read. This letter,
Uh-oh.
this letter to our sister resistor, as we begin to hold everyone who was with us live and everyone who will be watching the replay. So we will be back in just about probably 30 seconds. So make sure if you need a refill, I need a little refill on my water. I'm going to refill my water. I'm going to hum. I'm going to take care of myself. I'm going to stretch. And we will be back in about 45 seconds. See y'all in a second.
Welcome to Master Force with Mushim Suit. Join us each week on Thursdays at 7 a.m. Central, live on Facebook and YouTube on the Female Solution page. As we dive into powerful topics designed to assist you in mastering your life force, our conversations feature a diverse lineup of experts, all dedicated to your growth. Tune in weekly to discover new ways to elevate your spirit and raise your vibration. And remember, we are ascending.
And we're back. We are back. So, what I would love to be able to do is introduce shredding rugs to everyone who is watching. I am super excited about this collection of poems and blessed to be a part of your journey and the trust that you had within Birds World Publishing um, to publish this collection. It is such an honor to be here with you. And so I want to read the back quote from someone who had a chance to get a inside scoop of what this book was about, and who was really, really integral part of this process for you. And then read the description, and then would love for us to go into your letter and one of your poems.
Yes.
And then we're gonna be in conversation.
Right.
We're gonna be in conversation. So I thank y'all so much for being here. Make sure, like I said, refill your waters. Take care of yourself. Shredding Rugs, LaCrista Grandberry's debut poetry collection. And on the back it reads, "She cleans house with a clear voice, with grace, with a hard-won peace, and without apology. Shredding Rugs is not an easy book. It's a necessary one." Regina Berg, poet. With fierce tenderness and unflinching truth, LaCrista Grandberry breaks the silence that has long kept Black girls in the shadows. These poems speak to pain, power, survival, and the freedom found in reclaiming your story. Shredding Rugs is a reckoning and a release, a testament to what it means to rise whole and choose yourself anyway. LaCrista, it's all yours.
All right. A letter to a sister resistor. I'm going to read, I'm going to start with a note to self. And the note to self says, "There's a long distance between the little girl who waited on that porch to go to Disney and the young woman who gets to take herself across the world." Therapist, 2023. The poem is called Break, Unleash, Shred. Snap the broom in two. Feel the curse crack with it. Feel the weight shift, the hush of 100 years rip beneath my feet. Unleash the dust. Ain't no more sweeping shit under the rug. Ain't no more pressing dirt into dark hymns. Ain't no more quiet. Let it rise. Let it dance in the light. Let it choke if it must. It's been holding its breath too long. Shred the rug. Every secret, every shame, every name they told you not to speak. Call them out, let them loose, watch them spin like demons searching for a home that ain't yours no more. Tear it up from the floor. Rip every thread, every lie woven in tight, every silence stitched in deep. Make sure ain't nobody gonna lay it down again. Make sure the ones that come next ain't got nowhere left to hide the filth. This ain't a cleansing. This is a reckoning. Ain't no more let it be. Ain't no more hush. Ain't no more curse passed down like some family heirloom. We break, we unleash, we shred. And when the dust settles, we breathe clean.
I wanted y'all to be able to see just how that poem is set up and why it's so important. Why'd you choose that poem?
Oh, talk about liberation. Why did I choose this poem? I think as I consider what it means to be liberated and to step into your liberation, I think it does require a cleansing, and that cleansing sometimes look like a reckoning. Because we are so imprisoned by our own thoughts, by what happened to us. We are literally stuck sometimes in the depths of like all the shit. And I think sometimes we grow up in a society that is very just get over it. And that's not how it works. That's not how you breathe clean. You get through it, and you get through it by dealing with it. You know, you want to walk through a wall, you're gonna have to take a sledgehammer and break it first. You know, this ain't Harry Potter, unfortunately. Um,
Said this a Harry Potter.
this ain't Harry Potter. And so I think we have to actually deal with things, and sometimes we we forget that part, or we're afraid of that part. And it's a necessary part of the journey of truly being in liberation. And so this poem for me both feels like war and like victory. Um, to truly break and shred the thing that is for me that kept me down. And the thing that kept me down was staying silent and playing the game and sweeping everything under rugs. And I was like, I don't want to do that no more. I don't want to do that no more. So I can't just not do it. I gotta like dismantle the thing.
Yeah.
Um,
Oof.
so
Yeah.
my
What?
my letter is one to say, honey, we got this, and this is what it
Yes.
looks like, and don't be afraid, because when you do call them out, when you do, one of my favorite lines in this poem is call them out, let them loose, watch them spin like demons searching for a home that ain't yours no more.
Mm. Call them out, let them loose. Watch them spin like demons, searching for a home that ain't yours no more. Oof.
That ain't yours. You got to live somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Honey, I'm cleaning house of all this shit.
And you're breathing. I love how this ends in breath.
Yeah.
And when the dust settles, we breathe clean.
Clean. Yeah.
Mm, my word. Child. Ah!
I don't think it's in this book, but there's another poem where I talk about um like, oh gosh, I want to know the exact line and I'm not going to remember it, but there's another poem that I have, and it talks about recycled oxygen.
Mm.
Like, imagine just breathing in recycled oxygen over and over again. And like, it's sort of a real thing. It happens sometimes. But the more, I don't, it's a way that I said it that I was like, that sounds crazy, LaCrissa. But I kind of feel like that's what happens sometimes when we suffocate in our own mess.
Yeah.
It's like being in a dust storm. You don't want
Yeah.
to breathe in that.
You don't want to breathe. Or you get so used to breathing it, you think it's normal and not
Honey, that
understanding what
norm
it
ain't
does
you.
to your body as it is harming and wrecking the insides of your body, right? Mm.
Truly.
What does liberation feel like in your body today?
What does liberation feel like in my body today? Oh,
Because we get to live in the yes and in this conversation, right? And
yeah.
I believe, I know that this book holds so much, right? Because the way in which it is broken up, we have sections. What they
Yeah.
refuse to see, what they couldn't see, what I choose to see, choose. It's that O, baby. It's that O. Is the double O or one O?
Well,
Lose,
it's in
choose,
the book,
chose. It's
but
chose. But
it
when
is.
I see that word, my brain doesn't work properly. So
It's
it's
okay.
what they refuse to see, what they couldn't see, what I chose to see, and for those who carried me, right?
Yeah.
So we have these sections that
Mhm.
exist within the book, and the yes and,
Yeah.
because you went through your healing journey, exists
Mhm.
within these pages. And so how does that, what does liberation look like and feel
In my
like in your
body.
body today?
I I think one of my favorite things, and I'm not sorry about mentioning the retreat again. I'm not sorry about it. Um, because it really did set my year. It set it in motion, and I did not know I needed it, but I remember working with Dr. Barbara and those deep breaths that went so deep like I did not know I needed to breathe that deeply at that time. And when it happened then, there was so much angst and tension in it.
Mm.
And I feel like, honey, she certainly pushed those breaths, like it was assisted breaths. Talk about community. And right now, when I tell you the ability to just every day take the smoothest, softest, warmest, deep breaths
Mm.
that like float through my body.
Mm. In the through line of this conversation, because our very first guest in episode 1, if you have not had a chance to check that out, make sure that you check out episode 1 of All About Our Liberation, because Dr. Barber was our guest. And she
Yes.
talked about breath, and she talked about body and awareness and where that lives. And the behind the scenes conversation that we had that's on Substack, that's a whole nother conversation that I'm still trying to journal through, right? And so
Mm,
I love the through line of like you mentioning Dr. Barber and how you had the opportunity to reset your breath,
yeah,
understand your breath,
I
unlearning
really
things that were
did.
no longer serving you, and allowing yourself to like move forward in this more healed version of you.
Yeah. Yeah, I could go so far deep in and on about Dr. Barbara because talk
Ah,
about finding safety in your body again, finding home in your body again, and peace in your body again. And I think a lot of that has to do with breath as well. Like the reason I am able to breathe so deeply and so freely and so softly within my body now. And
mm,
so I think liberation looks that way. And the liberation for me, it feels like I can be doing the wildest tap dance and still feel so light on my feet. And I don't know how to tap. So that'll help you have some sort of reference to that. Um
mm,
like it feels like I can fly and I don't have wings. It feels like all the impossible has now become possible in my
oof,
body. And so I
mm,
I feel so like free and light
mm,
and able
mm,
in many ways. Yeah.
I love all of that.
Yeah.
I love all of that. And one of the things that you have named twice already, right? Is the retreat that we did
Yeah.
at the beginning of the year, right? And there is this magic that's like, I truly believe that it's magic that
Hmm.
takes place when we have a chance to come together collectively and
Yeah.
work through. Like one of the stories that we tell often is that drive up to the retreat and what that was like, and how people held you and woke up with you early in the morning to go through those poems and
Yeah.
literally hold your body, like the
Yeah.
myofascial stretching that took place with Dr. Barbara, and
Oh
how
my
Leah.
goodness. And then to sit down with Dr. Leah. Like,
And then, yep, sit down with Leah and like have that moment
yeah.
of being able to be held. And so, I would be remiss if I did not mention, that we are here to heal first within Birds World Publishing, right? A lot of spaces do focus on the writing, and that's important. One of the things that I know, and that is a testament to this work that you've been doing, right? It's proof that if you're not in the right space in your healing journey, you can't show up on the page the way that you deserve. You cannot
Yeah.
honor yourself and your readers in the way that they deserve. And
Yeah.
so in Birds World Publishing, we heal first, we write second. And
Yeah.
then you mentioned the building movements with our message third, right? Knowing what your movement is
Yeah.
allows for you to name and title your book. And so, if you are looking for a community and are interested in turning your message into a movement, but don't know really where to begin, I would love to be able to invite you to our next open house that we are hosting actually tomorrow. So, if that is a space where you're like, I have a story, but I don't know where to begin, or I feel like I don't have the time or the strategies on how to actually do that, this is definitely a place for you to be. So I will definitely drop this in the chat. It's birdsworldpublishing.com/open house. Come be in community with us. Explore what Birds World looks like so that we can help get your message out there into the world. So talking about your message, right? Um, some folks, when they're writing, know that they want to start, but they don't really know where to begin.
Mm.
And then depending on the topic that they're talking about, it could be even more challenging to work through that process. And so, what did your writing process kind of look like when you were telling a story that feels so tender,
Mm.
um, and needs to be told as you were like walking through that process? Like, what did that look like for you?
Hmm. Oh boy.
Mhm.
Oh, it's so interesting because I mean, and Bird, you remember this? I had so many more pieces. Then
Came to me with like 92 and said, in 4 months, I want this out into the world. And I said, oh, challenge.
it's so many more pieces. But a lot of these poems had been written sort of over time, um, as life events sort of happened, or
Mm,
whenever I would have depression spells, or like writing was my release in a way. And so at that time, I wrote just for me. Say, I'm just gonna get my feelings out. Hey, John. um, but then putting it together for a book, and I think it's probably easier to answer this question, um, thinking about working with Regina, because sitting down to like revisit these poems and to clean them up and to get them in alignment to like be in a book
mhm.
for the purpose of somebody else reading them
That's important.
was a different process.
Yeah.
You know, when you're writing just for yourself, I could say whatever. Ain't nobody gonna read my thoughts. Uh, and then when you decide they're gonna go out and live in the world and you have no control over them anymore,
Yeah.
then you have to get a little bit more specific. And so, and going back to tackle some of these was really difficult, because it is reliving it in a way, and Regina was so good at both navigating the grace of how tender the topics were,
Yeah.
but also the I'm like the Regina-ness, the necessity of the poem.
You got Regina a couple times.
Got Regina to lie. I don't know how to say, like I was trying to figure out what other way do you say that. But the
Regina.
necessity, that's it.
You've been
The
Regina.
necessity of being clear in what you're saying, clear in the storytelling of it, and leaving no room for confusion, and finding the right words, and painting the picture, and
Yeah.
not hiding behind certain words because if the people are going to read it, but like painting your truth as authentic as possible, um and not trying to make it neat and pretty and acceptable for, like I'm gonna make it as good as I can for you. No, make it pretty for me, or messy for me rather,
Mm-hmm.
and let that be okay, um and then pass it on, and the people will get what they need.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I don't know if I answered the question completely,
You
but
did.
I was sitting there thinking
This
a
is
lot
a
about it.
great.
I'm like, the difference between writing them in the time that I wrote them just for myself versus going back to revisit and edit them for the book was two very different processes.
Absolutely. And a lot of people don't think about the process that you are naming. So I'm really glad that you had an opportunity to name that, right? Like I heard from you when starting the process, you just wrote. I think a lot of
Mhm.
people come to the stage or come to the page and wanting to write a poem. and it has to be perfect, right? You said, I just wrote. And then as you began to peel back the layers of what you actually want this book to be, you started to dig in and do the work and figure out what poems needed to be a part of this collection, because that was a huge part of our conversation.
Yeah.
And then figuring out how to edit these poems so that they are received in a way that allows for your story to be intact and for the reader to actually understand all of it, right? So you definitely answered the question, and you answered it in a way that not a lot of people think about. So I thank you for that. Thank you for that. I have one last question for you. I'm noticing the
Okay.
chat. Yeah, Joe said I can say that I'm benefiting 100% from all the work Regina and you did to revisit, align, and prep for the pieces of this amazing book. Absolutely. And girl, you painted your truth in the most beautifully imperfect, messy, perfect way, inspiring me to do the same in a piece. I'm struggling. She literally holds this book and hugs it when we are on sessions. It is absolutely beautiful. So you're paving the way. You are giving folks inspiration to be able to share their message. So last question that I have for you is,
Okay.
what wisdom about liberation would you offer a sister resistor who is finding her way back home to herself?
Oh, mio mio. I almost just cry. I'm gonna hold it together a little bit. If I cry.
You look here. If we
I know.
together. Oh, oh. Okay.
Okay. What wisdom about liberation would I offer a sister resistor who is finding her way back home to herself? I think the first truth that I think we all have to recognize is that living is hard. It is no easy task to live and go through anything. We are not made to bounce back. It takes time. It takes a lot of patience with not like with yourself, but also the rest of the world. It takes a lot of grace with yourself and with the rest of the world. It takes a lot of unlearning. And then it takes a lot of relearning, like unlearning all the things and then deciding what it is you want to be and how to pour into yourself so that you can blossom the way you desire to. And I think creating a life that you are pleased with, that you are proud of, a life that you feel good about, as you find your way back home to yourself. Yeah, I just think it's no small task. And so my encouragement or my wisdom is to take your time doing it, and be gracious with yourself. Have so much grace for yourself. To be reminded that it may be hard, but it's possible to see the other side of whatever it is you're going through, or the other side of this version of yourself as you find your way home to yourself. Yeah, I don't know. I just hope people are encouraged to keep moving even when it feels like they're still.
Yeah.
Like small steps are okay.
Small steps are okay. Absolutely.
It's like slow progress is still progress.
It is.
And so be patient with yourself as you make your way home to yourself, because it takes, I mean, and oh my gosh, I feel like I hear this sometimes from people in different ways, but like I'm 30, how old am I? 33. I'm 33 years old, and I don't think I truly started my own, like, true deep dive of healing and unlearning until about 5, 6 years ago, which
Hmm.
meant I would have been
Don't have me doing that math now. Hold on. 28?
28. We got it right together. I would have been 28. And I think about the fact that, like, that's 28 years of stuff. Like, 28 years of conditioning, of all the stuff that's been put inside me, all the things I think about myself, all the things other people think about me, all the trauma, like all the things I've done to myself and whatever. Like, that's 28 years of a lot of stuff to unlearn and undo and dismantle.
Hmm.
And we want to do it in 5 seconds.
Right.
Like, we want to be on the other side of it immediately, and it doesn't work like that. And I will always be the first to say it's not a destination, it's a journey. I'm still working. While I am in a place of great healing and I've never met this version of myself, there are other versions of myself that I think will surprise me even more. Um, but I'm gonna keep going because I'm gonna give myself all the 28 years that it took to get to a place of finally being like, wait, I think I need help. So now I got 28 years to undo all of it. And
Yeah.
my goodness, wait until I hit that mark where it's like, it's been 28 years since I realized for 28 years the world tried to suck me dry. Who will I be then?
And love.
Once you've had the equal amount of time, like, we don't get that for
Mhm.
real.
Yeah.
Imagine somebody waiting until they're 62 before they realize how much they got to unlearn.
And
For
it's okay.
62 years.
And it's okay if that
And it's
happens.
so, oh, it's absolutely okay. But it's like,
Yes.
that's
Yeah,
62 years of stuff.
that is.
You
Oof.
won't undo that in 5 seconds.
No.
So
Yeah.
my wisdom is really to just grace with yourself, grace in your unlearning, grace in your learning, grace in your understanding, um, grace for the version of you that did not know and couldn't know until now, and grace for the woman that you're going to become, or a man you're going to become, or a person you're going to become. Like, I love grace.
Grace.
I
Thank you
really
for that
do.
reminder.
Uh,
Oh, thank you
uh,
so much for being here. Thank you
thank
so much for your vulnerability. Thank you so much for your truth and your joy and your ability to take this journey outside of yourself
you.
and allow us to be there with you. So, there are prompts in the back of this book.
Yeah.
The one prompt you can share with folks that they can take with them to journal around. And if you have not gotten your copy of Shredding Rugs, I am placing that at the bottom of the screen. So make sure you get your copy. I also dropped it in the chat. But before we close out, if you can just name which prompt you would love for folks to journal around.
Well, I'm going to name the one I've just talked about the most. What are you willing to unlearn?
What are you willing to unlearn? All right. It is here, y'all. And there's space for y'all to write too.
There
So make
is.
sure y'all get your copy of Shredding Rugs. Thank you so much, LaCrissa, for joining us. I absolutely adore you. I love you. And I cannot wait to continue to grow with you. This conversation has been so amazing. If this conversation spoke to you, and make sure you join us in 2 weeks because we're going to continue our journey around healing and writing and remembering who we were before the world got its hands on us. So if you haven't already, do not forget to like, subscribe, comment, share this with someone who really needs this conversation, right? And last but not least, this is just the tip of the iceberg, right? So we have an anthology coming out for All About Our Liberation, a manifesto for women of color. It is coming out in 2026. So if you are interested in that, make sure you join our wait list. And we're going to be hopping off of here, but we're going to be having 30 minutes of a behind the scenes conversation that you can only get on Substack. So if you have not joined my Substack, make sure you hop in at Bluebird's World, BLUBYRDS. Did I do that right? Nope. BLUBYRDSWORLD. Look here. We are good for tonight. Lacrissa, thank you again so much.
Thank you.
I cannot wait to continue this conversation with you. I love you. I adore you. Thank you all so much for joining. If you are in here afterwards, make sure you let us know. Type replay in the chat. And until next time, I want to send y'all off with so much love and all of the liberation. All right, y'all. See y'all in 2 weeks. Bye, y'all.
We've come to the end of our show today. If you missed any broadcasts, go to our website for the audio and video archives at www.thefemalesolution.com. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to thank all of you who participated in today's discussions. And to our global family joining us from all around the world, we say thank you. To our family in China, xie xie. India, dhanyavad. Japan, arigato. Korea, kamsamnida. Russia, spasiba. Germany, danke. Poland, dziękuję. France, merci. Spain, gracias. Italy, grazie. Egypt, shukran. Ghana, madasi. Nigeria, eshe. South Africa, ngiyabonga. Senegal, jareh. Kenya, asante. Israel, toda. Pakistan, shukriya. Afghanistan, tashakur. Saudi Arabia and Palestine, shukran. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Thank you, and may peace be upon you and the mercy of God and God's blessings.